When the richest man on the planet meets the woman of his dreams, it seems like even money can't buy that kind of happiness. But what happens when a third party decides to turn their intimate messages into a weapon worth $4 billion? Before we dive into the details of our investigation, make sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. It really helps the channel grow. This story doesn't start in a courtroom, but in a world dripping with champagne and billion-dollar secrets. Picture a yacht slicing through the Mediterranean under the flashes of paparazzi cameras bouncing off designer gowns in Cannes, private jets lined up on runways like toys for the world's wealthiest elite. This was the backdrop where Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos were supposed to be untouchable. The perfect power couple, he, the world's most ruthless businessman, she, the glamorous television host who became a helicopter pilot and captured his heart. But behind the velvet ropes and red carpet smiles, chaos was waiting. Because in one move that sent shockwaves across Silicon Valley and Hollywood alike, Elon Musk, yes, that same man who thrives on disruption, allegedly leaked Lauren Sanchez's private messages. And these weren't just any ordinary messages. These were intimate, explosive, and potentially devastating texts tied to a staggering $4 billion legal case. Overnight, a story of luxury turned into a saga of betrayal. When the leak hit the media, insiders say Lauren was blindsided. What started as whispers on Twitter exploded into front-page headlines within hours. Networks ran breaking news crawls. Gossip sites posted screenshots. Reaction videos flooded TikTok. And while the world feasted on the drama, Lauren reportedly crumbled. Eyewitnesses described her as ashen-faced, unable to stand, in complete shock after realizing her private words had now been weaponized against her publicly. The timing couldn't have been worse. Just days before, she'd been photographed glowing beside Bezos on the deck of a super yacht in Sardinia, champagne flute in hand, looking like nothing could touch them. But behind the sparkle, Musk was allegedly preparing his strike, a carefully timed leak that turned Lauren's fairy tale into a nightmare. To understand the scale of this collapse, imagine the stakes. These weren't just casual texts. Sources claimed they touched on business dealings, personal rivalries, and even secrets Lauren thought would never leave her inner circle. And with billions of dollars hanging in the balance, the fallout wasn't just personal. It was global. In that moment, Lauren Sanchez wasn't the glamorous fiancée of the richest man alive. She wasn't the confident jet-setting woman we'd seen on magazine covers. She was vulnerable, exposed, and according to one insider, she literally collapsed when she realized the magnitude of what Musk had done. The leaked texts revealed two major bombshells. First, hints that Bezos' empire was being dragged into private conversations. In one message, Lauren allegedly confided details about Amazon's next big strategy to a close friend, expressing fear that Jeff doesn't realize who's circling him. That single line set social media on fire. Second, the leaks exposed a feud Lauren had been hiding, bitter back-and-forth exchanges with another billionaire's wife. Screenshots painted a picture of jealousy, accusations, and even warnings like, "Your name won't survive this industry if you cross me." Social media did what it always does, tore the story apart, meme by meme, screenshot by screenshot. On Twitter, one user joked, "Elon just dropped billionaire receipts like he's DJing a scandal playlist." Another called it the most expensive group chat in history. But not everyone was laughing. Some commentators pointed out that the messages could be devastating in court. A high-profile attorney speaking on a late-night panel suggested, if these texts are authenticated, they could open Bezos up to claims of insider exposure. This isn't just gossip. This is legal dynamite. Suddenly, the story wasn't just about embarrassment. It was about a $4 billion case that could tilt depending on the words Lauren typed in confidence. For Lauren, the humiliation was unbearable. Eyewitnesses say she broke down in tears when friends sent her screenshots of her own words plastered across headlines. The woman who once commanded helicopters with ease now seemed grounded, weighed down by betrayal. One source close to her said bluntly, she wasn't crying because the world was judging her. She was crying because she knew Elon just weaponized her voice against her. The cruel irony was that these weren't even Musk's messages. They weren't his secrets to share. Yet somehow, he had obtained them. And by dropping them at just the right moment, he shifted the entire narrative of the lawsuit. For Jeff Bezos, the world's richest man, control had always been his trademark. He built Amazon by outthinking competitors, outspending rivals, and outmaneuvering governments. But in this moment, control slipped right through his hands. Insiders paint a brutal picture. According to one source close to Bezos, when he first saw the leaked messages, his reaction was explosive. He allegedly stormed out of a high-level meeting at Blue Origin headquarters, slamming the table so hard executives froze in their seats. The leaks raised a darker question. Had Lauren, the woman Bezos planned to marry, betrayed him behind closed doors? The text suggested she had shared sensitive concerns about Amazon's business dealings. Friends close to Bezos say the scandal rattled his inner circle. Advisors questioned whether he could still trust Lauren with access to his world. Jeff's team is loyal, but they're ruthless, one insider said. If they sense weakness or betrayal, they won't hesitate to cut her out to protect him. Rumors swirled that Bezos even cancelled a string of planned public appearances to avoid facing questions about Lauren's loyalty. Paparazzi noticed that Lauren was spotted without her engagement ring at a private dinner in Los Angeles, just days after the leaks. When the drama hit the courtroom, the atmosphere was electric. Reporters lined the steps before sunrise. When the couple finally arrived, Bezos in a dark navy suit, Lauren in black from head to toe, the crowd erupted. It wasn't just a legal proceeding, it was a public spectacle. Bezos lawyers fought aggressively to keep the leaked messages out of evidence. They argued the texts were obtained illegally, calling them a gross invasion of privacy and a strategic ambush. Musk's team fired back, insisting the messages were crucial to proving dishonesty and manipulation. And then came the moment no one could have scripted. Lauren herself was called in for a private deposition. According to insiders, she broke down in tears almost immediately. Eyewitnesses said she trembled as lawyers read her own words aloud, messages she never dreamed would be dissected in a legal battle worth billions. One attorney reportedly asked her directly, "Were you aware these conversations could be seen as exposing confidential business strategy?" Her answer, whispered through tears, was barely audible. By the time the courtroom firestorm spilled into headlines, Lauren Sanchez's private collapse had become painfully public. Paparazzi caught her leaving through the side door of a luxury Beverly Hills restaurant. Makeup streaked from tears, her bodyguards formed a wall around her as she sobbed uncontrollably. The photos went viral within minutes. Headlines screamed, "Lauren breaks down. The scandal she can't escape." But the most brutal betrayal didn't come from Musk. It came from inside her own family. Outlets reported that a distant relative sold private stories to the press for a six-figure payout. To see her own blood cash in on her pain was, according to insiders, the breaking point. On social media, the frenzy was merciless. TikTok creators edited together clips of Lauren crying with captions like, "From jet setting to regret setting." Twitter memes mocked her breakdown, calling it the billionaire meltdown of the year. While Bezos was reeling, Elon Musk was smiling. For him, this wasn't just about a leak. It was a calculated move. A chess piece slid across the board at exactly the right moment. People close to Musk claimed he had been sitting on those messages for weeks, waiting for the perfect time to strike. Why now? Because the $4 billion case looming in court gave him the stage he craved. By dropping the leaks just as Bezos' legal team was preparing its arguments, Musk didn't just embarrass his rival. He destabilized his foundation. One insider whispered, Elon wanted Jeff emotional, not strategic. This leak wasn't random. It was a power play designed to throw him off balance. Days after the leak, Musk appeared at a Tesla showcase in Austin. When a reporter shouted, "Do you regret leaking those messages?" Musk paused, looked directly into the cameras, and replied, "I don't leak, I innovate." The clip racked up millions of views within hours. Fans turned it into a catchphrase. Musk wasn't just winning in court, he was winning in culture. At the center of all this drama was a number so staggering it made Wall Street tremble: $4 billion. Court insiders leaked whispers that Bezos' legal team was preparing for a scorched earth strategy. If Lauren dared to press forward, he would unleash financial firepower that could stretch cases for years, draining her resources and turning this into a war of attrition. Lauren, meanwhile, wasn't backing down. Reports said she had lined up her own team of powerhouse attorneys, funded by allies who believed she was being silenced. The media painted it as a gamble. If Lauren proved her claims, Bezos could face a public relations nightmare and potentially billions in damages. If she failed, her reputation could shatter forever. Behind the scenes of this drama, a grim truth unfolds about how the most powerful people on the planet use technology to destroy each other. Cybersecurity experts suggest Musk might have used extremely sophisticated methods to obtain Lauren's private messages. The cost of such operations can reach tens of millions of dollars. One source in the cybersecurity industry revealed, when billionaires go to war, they don't use ordinary hackers. They hire former intelligence agents, quantum encryption experts, and even AI developers. This isn't hacking, it's cyber warfare. Insiders claim Musk could have spent over $50 million creating a private network of spies and technical experts whose sole purpose was to find vulnerabilities in Bezos and Sanchez's digital lives. This operation included tracking their phones, penetrating their home Wi-Fi networks, even possibly bribing telecommunications company employees. The most brilliant part of Musk's strategy wasn't what he did with the leak, but when he did it. Psychologists who analyze elite behavior say Musk chose the moment of maximum vulnerability for Lauren and Bezos. This was after their romantic trip to Sardinia, explains a psychology doctor specializing in ultra-wealthy behavior. They were at an emotional peak, feeling protected and happy. That's when the blow hurts most. This isn't coincidence, it's calculated psychological attack. Musk's spending on psychological analysis of his targets could have amounted to about $5 million. He hired a team of psychologists who studied the couple's public appearances in detail, their body language, even analyzed their social media posts to determine the best moment for attack. What seemed like a spontaneous viral scandal was actually a carefully planned media campaign. Sources in the media industry reveal that Musk spent millions of dollars coordinating the scandal's coverage. He didn't just leak messages, reveals a former editor of a major tabloid. He created an entire content ecosystem: memes, videos, expert commentary, everything was synchronized. When the story exploded, it appeared simultaneously on dozens of platforms with identical angles. This operation cost Musk approximately $20 million and included hiring an army of bloggers and influencers to spread content $8 million, paying for advertising algorithms to amplify spread $5 million, creating professional videos and graphics $3 million, coordinating with friendly media outlets $4 million. The scandal didn't stay within the bounds of personal relationships. Amazon's stock dropped 3% in the first week after the leak, meaning a market cap loss of over $40 billion. Tesla, conversely, rose 2%, adding $15 billion to Musk's wealth. Investors started questioning Amazon's leadership stability. At a closed Amazon board meeting, according to one participant, the atmosphere was tense. Board members directly asked whether Jeff could run the company if his personal life had become such a target. One of Amazon's biggest institutional investors stated, "We invest in stability and predictability. When a CEO's personal life becomes a weapon against the company, it creates unacceptable risk." Behind the scenes, a real war was unfolding between the world's most expensive legal teams. Bezos assembled a dream team of 12 of the country's top lawyers, each earning $1 million per month for their work. Particularly interesting was the hiring of David Boies, the legendary attorney who previously represented the US government against Microsoft. His fee was $15 million for just the first 3 months of work. Lauren, on the other hand, enlisted a feminist legal organization specializing in defending women from digital violence. Funding for this team came from a mysterious benefactor rumored to be another tech billionaire who had personal scores to settle with Musk. The scandal forced the entire tech elite to reconsider their digital security approaches. Tim Cook from Apple spent $20 million upgrading personal security systems. Bill Gates hired a team of 50 cybersecurity experts for round-the-clock monitoring of his digital footprint. Satya Nadella from Microsoft invested $30 million in creating a digital fortress, a system that isolates his personal communications from any external threats. The system includes quantum encryption, decentralized servers on 3 continents, and even an underwater communication cable. "What happened to Lauren and Jeff was a wake-up call for all of us," said one tech CEO on condition of anonymity. "We realized our phones, our homes, even our cars could become weapons against us." Trauma experts who work with the elite say what Lauren Sanchez experienced is a classic case of public psychological violence. Dr. Sarah Thompson, who treats cyberbullying victims among the rich and famous, explains, "When your most intimate life becomes global entertainment, it creates trauma comparable to warfare." Lauren began visiting a private clinic in Switzerland, specializing in treating digital trauma, a new type of psychological disorder that develops in victims of cyberbullying. Treatment costs $100,000 per month and includes experimental therapy using virtual reality to reprogram traumatic memories. The most painful aspect of the scandal was the betrayal from Lauren's own family. Detailed investigation showed that her cousin Michael Sanchez sold not only stories to the press, but also provided access to family photos, personal documents, and even recordings of private conversations at family gatherings. For this information, he received $750,000 from a consortium of tabloids. But this was just the beginning. Other family members, seeing what money could be made from Lauren, started selling their own stories. Her aunt told about Lauren's childhood for $200,000. A former university boyfriend sold intimate photos for $300,000. Even a former maid from her house earned $150,000 by telling about the real Lauren behind closed doors. Jeff Bezos, who was used to controlling everything around him, found himself in a situation of complete helplessness. Insiders describe his state as paranoid. He replaced all staff in his residences, installed video surveillance systems worth $5 million, and began using only encrypted communication channels. Most painful for Bezos was realizing that Lauren might have inadvertently become a source of confidential Amazon information leaks. The company's internal investigation revealed she had access to Bezos' email and could see strategic documents. Jeff realized that by trusting Lauren, he had put not only himself but the entire company at risk, reveals a former Amazon top manager. This was a blow not just to his ego, but to his business empire. While Bezos and Lauren tried to stem the bleeding, Musk enjoyed his triumph. He didn't just discredit his main competitor, he demonstrated to all of Silicon Valley his ability to destroy anyone using information warfare. At a private party at his Texas estate, Musk allegedly told a group of tech CEOs, "Jeff thought he could compete with me in space." But he forgot the real war happens here on Earth, in the information space. This statement, recorded by one of those present, was sold to tabloids for $500,000 and became another blow to Bezos' reputation. The dust hasn't settled. If anything, the smoke is only getting thicker. Jeff Bezos has billions, a fortress of lawyers, and the kind of power most people can't even imagine. But power doesn't protect you from betrayal. It just raises the stakes. Lauren Sanchez is still reeling, her team working around the clock to stop the bleeding from those alleged leaks. Elon Musk, always the disruptor, sits in the middle of it all like a chess master, leaving the world guessing about his next move. And here's the question no one can answer yet. Was this leak just a headline-grabbing stunt, or the first domino in a $4 billion legal collapse? If that case falls apart, it won't just be Bezos and Sanchez on the line. It could reshape Silicon Valley alliances, Hollywood deals, even Washington power plays. One thing's for sure, the drama is far from over. Because in the world of billionaires, loyalty is a currency rarer than gold. And someone just cashed in. So stay tuned, because what comes next might make this $4 billion scandal look like the calm before the real storm. In a world where love stories end in lawsuits, the question isn't who wins. It's who loses everything. When the world's most expensive love story transforms into the most expensive revenge, the price isn't measured just in money. It's measured in destroyed trust, broken hearts, and power that can change the fate of millions of people with a single message. In a world where technology can turn love into a weapon, the most expensive investment might be preserving one's own humanity.